compliance. There are many things that God said should not happen to your life. Satan heard it, unclean spirits heard it, and they still stubbornly hold on to whatever keeps you a victim. If you do not know how to bail yourself out by the application of genuine spiritual power, you may remain a victim forever. It takes power to grow. It takes power to retain anything you have been given. Retainership is not a product of wisdom. Acquisition is a product of wisdom, but retainership is a product of power. Are we together now? Power is the capacity to influence outcomes. It is the force that compels compliance. Let me tell you the truth. This world and the gates that have been closed around the systems of this world are not about to be open for you, except and unless you come with power. Except and unless you come with power. For instance, ministry will never work until power is part of the equation. Your home, your family will never work until power is part of the equation. Longevity in health and joy will never work. Promotion will never work. Advancement will never work. Are we together now? Nothing works in this kingdom until power keeps it in place. Look at me. Think of what happens in your house and think of what happens to your produce in the fridge when there's no light, as we call it. Imagine that there's no light and you don't have any way of outsourcing power. You know how inconveniencing it is to stay 2-3 days, no electricity. Most likely, precious things that you've spent money buying, putting in the fridge or the deep freezer will begin to rot. Is that so? Look, the amount of wastage that happens in a house when you have 72 hours without power. So think of what happens to a believer from January till June. No power. I can tell you, most likely the things you have received would have left you or would have lost their value. Power retains. There are things that can stay in the fridge for up to 1 month because there's constant electricity. When ministry remains, it took power to keep it. If your family is still gathered together, it takes power to keep it. Are we together? Even your name, the reputation God has given you, it takes power. Power. Many of us have lost our bishopric because we ignored the ministry of power and we allowed things to slip over our hands. Satan switched off the switch in your house and destiny, and you allowed it. Things began to decay. The things that should carry value and glory were missing because there's no power and there's no authority. I don't know one person who demons left in peace without engaging power. I don't know one person whose destiny just happened like that without power. It took power for Jesus to leave Hades back to the earth, power from the earth to the throne. Elevation is a product of power. There are many people in ministry who do not understand the dynamics of power. There are many people in business who do not understand the dynamics of power. There are many leaders who do not understand power because we have turned power to become a charismatic issue, an issue for men of God, or our concept of power has just been deliverance and falling down and maybe healing. Oh no. Power is beyond that. The force that compels compliance. The power to manipulate outcomes. You manipulate and check it with the word. They are not the same. You manipulate again until it becomes consistent with that which is written. I believe what I'm teaching you, you are in for a real journey this night. We're still defining terminology. So power is the capacity to influence outcomes. Every prayer request is an outcome desired, is an outcome that is a representation of your expectation. Something you want to change is what you document as a prayer request, and it only answers to power. The subject of power was not supposed to be an issue that we talk about. The reason why the subject of power has become an irritation in the body of Christ is because it has become a noisy expression of zeal without a testament validating it. We talk a lot about power. We teach series about power with all due respect. We write books about power. So many things power can do. Stories about power that we never see brought to the scene. Is the reason why the world does not take us seriously. I tell you the truth, where the carcasses are, in truth, there the eagles will gather. Are we together? Let's define authority. Authority is the right or the legitimacy to use power, the legitimacy to administer power, the legitimacy to administer power. Please lend me your attention. Is called authority. The legitimacy to administer power. Authority is also the right to represent, to stand instead for. Are we together? So when we talk about authority, we talk about the legitimacy, the right to use power. It takes authority to not make your use of power illegal. I will always give this example. Please look at me. Imagine with me that there are two people standing here, one by my left and the other by my right. Let's call the person by my left an armed robber or a terrorist. Are we together? Having a gun, an AK-47. And then someone standing here, a military man, licensed by, the Nigerian military. Both of them are holding guns. One has power because with that gun he can produce a real effect on your body, like death or injury. The effect is not fake. If he shoots that gun, the gun does not care whether it's a criminal shooting it. It will kill you, except you have something else greater than the gun. Are we together now? But for the military man, why will another person shoot? Both of them will shoot, but one will go to bed in peace, commended by the nation. Another one will go to jail. What is the difference? Both of them have power, but only one has authority. Are you listening now? You have to understand this. Just because you have power does not authorize you to use it. Oh, there is a judicial system in the spirit that vets authority. You ask the sons of Sceva. So many believers are conscious of power, but very few people understand the dynamic